share with you 4 breaking news that I believe it's extremely important, and I would like to straight up telling you that we need to call our representatives, our House representatives, immediately, because tomorrow there is a vote in the Congress and the House of Representatives for the war resolution, so that we have to advance that. And I will get to this, because unfortunately, as I told you, we must call our representative. I told you that we have to call our senators. And I told you also, and again, I'm telling you this because every single thing that comes out of my mouth, it's actually accurate and it's happening. So I don't even know what else to say, guys. I mean, every single thing that I'm talking about is happening. So please, for heaven's sake, take this into consideration, what I'm talking about. Because today, the Senate literally blocked the war power resolutions in the Senate. And guess what? Guys, you can't make this stuff up. All the Republicans except Senator Ron Paul from Kentucky blocked the resolution. You got to be kidding me, right? They were all like, la, 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 we're all concerned. And only Senator Ron Paul from Kentucky advanced the resolution. You can't make this stuff up. Of course, now I will read you from the news here. And this is why it advanced now to the House of Representatives. And as you are here, please like this video so that this can be spread to more people. And I know you're watching. If you care about our country, if you care about the world, if you care about humanity, if you're here watching me, if you are caring about independent and critical analysis, all I'm asking you is to not only to listen to what I'm saying, because everything I say is accurate, but also hit the goddamn like button and also share your goddamn comments. I want to know, like, what are your thoughts in this? I know you're watching. Okay, let's get into this. So it has to advance to the House of Representatives tomorrow, and you need to call your House representatives, Democratic or Republican, I don't care. You need to call your representative. So I want to read this, and all the links that I'm referring to is in the description. So you read it for yourself, but this is for the news from The Hill, and the title reads, Senate Republicans defeat measure to halt Iran strikes despite growing anxieties. Senate Republicans voted largely along party lines Wednesday to defeat a bipartisan war powers resolution to halt military action against Iran, even though a number of GOP senators are voicing concerns. And this is exactly what it is. They're voicing concerns, but they're doing a crap about the lack of a clear game plan for ending the conflict. The motion to discharge the resolution from the Senate Foreign Relations Committee failed by vote 47-53. Senator Ron Paul from Kentucky, who regularly opposes deploying U.S. armed forces in the foreign conflict, was the only Republican to vote to advance the measure. Two key moderate Republicans, Senator Susan Collins, of course Senator Susan Collins, and of course Senator Lisa Murkowski from Alaska. I mean, what is wrong with Maine? What the hell is wrong with Maine? The two senators and their Republican, and their House representatives are just crazy. They're just crazy. And I want you to memorize who is voted for what, because in the history, when it comes down to, you want to remember these senators. They failed you. They failed your groceries, your, I don't know, all the fees you are paying, all the, if you are purchasing anything online, those fees. Listen, all, if you pay mortgage, if you pay, I don't know, if you have children, if you have medical bills, blame this on your senators. I'm telling you, if you are a Republican, okay, if you are Republican, I will tell you from the Democrats, one the Democrat, and you will not be surprised which Democratic senator actually blocked this resolution. So one senator from the Republicans is the only one advancing it, and from the Democrats, one senator, and you will not be shocked if I tell you who that is, block the resolution. You cannot make this up. Remember who these senators are, because down the line and down the history, they will go down the history, and they will be responsible for you not being able to pay your rent, pay your bills, pay your medical bills, pay your mortgage bills, pay the school for your children, go to the grocery, buy, I don't know, meat or eggs, whatever the heck. They will be responsible. And I told you exactly, again, only all Republican senators except Ron Paul from Kentucky blocked this resolution. Let's continue. Again, of course, Susan Collins from Maine, and of course, Linda Murkowski from Alaska, whose political base include Democrats and moderates in Alaska, both voted to block the resolution, even as both included notes of caution about the operation. Collins said before the vote that the administration had done a much better job explaining the mission to members of Congress than it did before the overnight assault to capture Venezuelan President Nicolas Maduro. And in the statement released after the vote, Collins argued that the advancing of war powers resolution would undercut the troops. But she also warned that she warned that the Trump administration has to keep lawmakers fully briefed on the conflict. Jesus, guys, I can't make this stuff up, but this Collins lady, I mean, I don't know in what world is she living. I don't know in what kind of bubble is she living. Her judgment is just off the scale, unreal. Passing this resolution now would send the wrong message to Iran and to our troops. At this juncture, providing unequivocal support to our service members is critically important, as is ongoing consultation by the administration with Congress, she said. Murkowski on Wednesday agreed that the administration did a better job of earning GOP support for the strikes against Iran than it did before Congress voted on another resolution to halt military action against Venezuela earlier this year. I think it is actually better than how they communicated with Venezuela, but that doesn't say much, she said. Geez, what are you talking about? Even though she voted against the resolution, Murkowski said she has concern. Oh, of course she has concerns. She always plays the double sides. It's just surreal with Murkowski. I don't know what. These people must be voted out, all right? These people must, I don't even know what still Collins and all the main people, the two senators and their representatives are still, what are they doing in the Congress? They block all the time everything that's good for the country. And Murkowski admitted that she is afraid of Trump. You can't make this stuff up. You are the goddamn senator representing the people, the beautiful people of Alaska. If you haven't been in Alaska, highly encourage you to go. But I don't know what these senators are doing there. I mean, Alaska, you cannot live in Alaska. There's nothing. You can't live there. There's not even. Okay, what are they doing there? And they block constantly every resolution that's good for the country. Even though she voted against the resolution, Murkowski said that she has concern about the lack of clear endgame of the conflict. That's what most Americans are thinking. She said, you can possibly say what most Americans said. What you are the least person to tell us what the most Americans are thinking. A recent Reuters Ipsos poll of 1,282 US adults nationwide found that only 27% of respondents approved of the strikes against Iran and 43% disapproved. And now we are coming to who is the Democrat. I wanted to have in the chat, who is the Democrat, in your opinion, the only Democratic senator who blocked the resolution? Tell me in the chat. Who, in your opinion, I already told you, only one Republican senator, Senator Ron Paul, is the one who advanced. But I want to ask you, only one Democratic senator blocked the resolution and sided with Republicans. Who is this in your mind? Who is this? If you know US politics, you know right away who that is. Can you write that in the chat? I want to follow the chat. Hi, Going South Garage. How are you? Good to see you. I don't know how much about Graham Planter. Oh, Graham Planter, but he cannot be worse than Susan Collins. Fetterman, exactly, Yeti, exactly. I don't even know what he's doing there. Why? He is surreal. Fetterman, exactly. Unbelievable. Unreal. So from the Republicans, Fetterman, yeah, I guess the Fetterman too. Yeah, exactly, Fetterman. And when you hear him talk, I heard him, I think yesterday, just goddamn, shut up. Like, shut the hell up. What are you doing? Like, why is he still there? I can't put my head around this. Okay, let's continue. Senator John Fetterman, Pennsylvania, Democrat, an outspoken proponent of Israel using military force to defend itself, was the only Democrat to vote to block the measure. Speaking before the vote, Senate Democratic leader Chuck Schumer from New York framed the vote as a question about whether or not senators are ready to send our sons and our daughters into harm's way. He urged GOP, also Chuck Schumer, shut up, go away. Like, oh God, we have to vote them all out. He urged GOP colleagues to take a stand, arguing the last thing the American people want or need is another war in the Middle East. So you cannot possibly tell us what the American people needs. You and you only are the one who voted for while in the midterms the Democrats had the upper hand. You, Chuck Schumer, you are the one who were literally flipped it and tipped it so that the resolution to block of all the Medicare money went out of the window. You, Chuck Schumer, you need to shut up and go home. But GOP senators argued that President Trump has the authority as commander-in-chief to order thousands of missile strikes and bomb raids. I think the president has the authority that he needs to conduct the activities, the operations that he currently underway there. Senate Majority Leader John Thune from Republican South Dakota told reporters, the president is acting in the best interest of the nation and our national security. Of course, it's our national security interests by ensuring that he's protecting Americans and American bases. And American bases are bombed. 11 American bases are bombed. What are you talking about? And installations in the region. What installation in the region? 7 of the allies are being bombed. 11 bases, American bases, have been bombed. People are stranded in the airports. Everything is blocked. What the hell are you talking about? I mean, these people, I swear to God, we will get to the Epstein files. There's also breaking news with Apple. I have like 3 more breaking news, okay? So they are literally, and I am so happy that finally the people, not only in the United States, but worldwide, including especially in UK, there's so much SHIT going on there. And I've been lately following a lot of people from UK and the news and Irish news, and it's just so much going on. I will do maybe just a section another time, a video, a live stream, just to cover that, because there's a lot going on that you have I'm sure you have no idea. In any case, so they are lying into our face, and they still think that we are so dumb that it's just, they think it's 20 years ago. They think it's a decade ago. They think it's just 5 years ago. As I told you, we the people is rising and will rise even further. And I told you with the dates and all that, right? The civil war is coming, and I told this literally since last year. This is surreal that they still think that we are so dumb. And I will tell you another breaking news, what happened just today to a Marine with uniform in a subcommittee meeting. You can't believe that. You will absolutely not believe that. And you need to mark these people's names. You need to mark these people's name, because down the line, when it comes down, we will know who is on the right side of the history and who wasn't. And this is critical. So I already told you what the Thune said, but then of course Lindsey Graham. Okay, Lindsey Graham, I don't even know what to say about this person. Okay, Senator Lindsey Graham for Republican South Carolina, a close ally of Trump, called the War Powers resolution unconstitutional. It sucks, he said, of the effort by the Congress to constrain Trump's authority to launch preemptive strikes. It is an unconstitutional shift of power from the commander-in-chief to the Congress. Guys, if this guy literally opens one more time his mouth, I just don't know what to say, okay? GOP lawmakers warned that pulling U.S. troops from an ongoing military conflict while Iran is launching hundreds of missiles against U.S. bases and installation in the Middle East would be irresponsible. Some Republicans, however, expressed growing concern that senior administration officials haven't yet given them a clear answer on how long the conflict will last. So you don't know, and you haven't got this information, and you have concerns, and yet you are passing this or blocking this resolution. Like, this is surreal. Like, I just cannot believe that this is so dirty. I mean, I just cannot believe this. So why are you there? My Republican friends, I'm asking you, why would you allow these people still representing you? If you have still concerns, why are you so afraid of Trump and the administration, Rubio and J.D. Vance and Stephen Miller? So I just cannot believe that you are so afraid of these people. Why do you still have them in power? Why? They do not represent your needs. They don't. Senator Todd Young, Indiana, independent, a key swing Republican who voted against the War Powers Resolution. Okay. An independent, Todd Young, an independent, also blocked this resolution. As a professional in the field, do you think this stroke Fetterman suffered affected his judgment? I don't think so. I don't know. I don't even know that he had a stroke, but I wouldn't think so. Fetterman is just Fetterman. If he had a stroke, his action would be like physical actions would be so different. For example, if you told me this, I would never even, I heard this for the first time. I would see, let's say, because Trump, when he had a stroke, and people don't even talk about this, he most certainly had a stroke recently. His one side of the face dropped, and there was a lot of issues. So most certainly you would say, and his speeches and his physical behavior would be different. But 100%, I mean, I would never thought in a million years that he had a stroke. And I do not believe that this would affect at all his judgment whatsoever. But thanks for the question. What happened? No. Oh, man. Just give me a sec. I have to reload this. Sorry. Again, it's also the independent, and this shocked me. Again, I just cannot believe this is happening, actually. The independents also blocking this. Like, what is wrong with you? Okay, let's do this. All right. Okay. All right. So, the independent, where is this? Okay. Independent. Okay. Senator Todd Young, independent, a key swing Republican who voted against the War Powers Resolution Wednesday, said Congress needs to do a better job of getting answers from the administration about its plan for conducting the operation, which could stretch well into spring. When you believe that this administration did a horrible job, or you still have questions, or you still have no clue, where are we going? How long will that last? Do we have ammunition? How many people will die for this? What is the end game? What about the people that stranded in these countries? What about our US military bases? What is happening? And why, if you have all these questions, why would you on earth block this resolution? Get your goddamn answers first before improving anything. I mean, guys, think about this way. You apply for a job. You apply for a job, and then they hire you right away. You apply and they hire you, and then you start your first day in job, and then they said, oh, by the way, do you have any criminal records? Or do you have anything that is hindering your conflict of interest? Like after they hire you, after you went through all the HR, after you get your first salary, you see, this is how it is. This is surreal. Good luck applying for a job, get your job right away, and then it's just completely surpassing all your background check. What are we talking about? I can't believe that these people think they literally get away with this. What are we doing as Americans? What are we doing? How can we allow this? Okay. He voiced concern about whether there was sufficient planning. Like, if you are concerned, why are you blocking this resolution? Whether there was sufficient planning and engagement from Congress before Trump launched the massive military operation. I look primarily to Congress. I think we should have asked more questions. Media outlets were reporting for weeks that they were marching toward war, Young said. We should have been holding hearings and asking probing questions and making the case to get a greater measure of unity around this operation on the front end. But here we are. We are at war. You said it. You said it. We are at war. And that, my friend, makes that illegal. Because Trump said it is a war. Hexet said it is a war. You, Young, said it is a war. Meaning it is a war. And it is illegal. You still block the resolution. You can't make this stuff up. How dumb they think we are. I just can't. Young, a member of the Senate Intelligence Committee, said that despite whatever misgivings he might have about how he led up to the military strikes was handled by the administration and lawmakers on key committees, it would be dangerous to pull troops out of the field now. As a practical matter, it would be dangerous to the American people and our national security to withdraw all military action involvement right now. Where the hell were you before? And you are in the Intelligence Committee. The country of Iran and the surrounding region has been destabilized, he said. Young was one of the 8 GOP senators. Wait, is he now GOP? I thought he was independent. Young was one of the 8 GOP senators who voted for war powers resolution to prohibit military action against Iran in February of 2020 after Trump ordered a US drone strike that killed Iranian General Qasem Soleimani. Paul Collins, Murkowski, and Senators Mike Lee, Republican from Utah, Bill Cassidy, Republican from Louisiana, and Jerry Moran, Republican from what's that? Kansas, also voted for the Iran War Powers resolution 6 years ago. So Murkowski, Ron Paul, Collins, Mike Lee, and Bill Cassidy and Jerry Moran, they had voted for the resolution. Now they vote against. Cassidy said he voted against the War Powers Resolution Wednesday because the U.S. troops are in active combat. That's your job to stop that. What the hell are we doing? So you are saying you care more about the active U.S. troops there, okay with people dying, and all the Democrats have no clue about anything war. They just will harm the U.S. troops. Is that what you're saying? Is that what the GOP is saying? So they care so much about the troops because we are, again, the fourth person says we are at active war. Say it out loud. We are at active war. This makes, again, this illegal. So, God, I can't. I think right now we got troops in the field. They need our support. It needs to be unequivocal, he said. Moran also voted against the resolution, but he told The Hill on Wednesday that he didn't have a clear idea. Look. He did not have a clear idea how much longer the conflict will last, even after receiving a briefing from Secretary of State Marco Rubio, Secretary of Defense Pete Hegseth, and Chair of the Joint Chiefs of Staff General Dan Kane on Tuesday. Let's put this up here. Let's see the breaking news. Trump launches military operation yet. Yeah, Trump launches military operation yet to another country. Yeah, to Ecuador. He launched today another attack to Ecuador. Okay. Asked if he was satisfied with the administration's explanation of the conflict's endgame, Moran replied, "I don't think the information is sufficient because it's unknowable." Unknowable? Unknowable? What are you... This is your goddamn job. Like, oh my God. This is surreal, guys. I can't even describe to you how surreal this is. I don't think the information is sufficient because it's unknowable. Yeah, that's why the resolution, you just blocked it. Paul, a critic of projecting US military power abroad, said before the vote that Trump had abandoned the anti-war positions he ran on as a candidate for president in 2016. He said GOP colleagues should listen to the campaign message of Donald Trump that he ran on and that he won with, which was that he was opposed to regime change, that he was opposed to preemptive war. He said that strikes launched against Iran in recent days were inconsistent with the message that he ran on, and there are a lot of people, I think, who are not that excited about being in another Middle Eastern war. Paul said conflict with Iran could drag out far longer than senior administration officials expect, pointing out that the war in Afghanistan lasted for 2 goddamn decades. He didn't say goddamn, I'm adding to that. So he said lasted for 2 decades, and I'm saying lasted for 2 goddamn decades. Asked how long the fight will last, Paul said, I don't think anybody knows. And that's the problem. And that's why he accurately voted as the only GOP Republican senator to advance the resolution. Sometimes it turns out wars to be anticipated. Nobody thought when they voted for the war in Afghanistan that we would be there 20 years and spend $2 trillion, he said. Think what you like about Ron Paul. I 100,000,000% agree what he's saying. I also 100,000,000% agreed about during COVID about Fauci. 100% agreed with Fauci, and as a scientist, I'm still saying that. Fauci was a disaster, and I agreed 100% what he was saying against Fauci. All right, now let's move to the second breaking news, 3814, and this is good news because one of the, as I told you, one of the, if you haven't watched it, watch it, the previous reasons why we are in this war is because one of the reasons is because of the Epstein files that disappeared. Now, they thought it will go away. But just now, right before I went live, this is breaking news coming just now. House, this is from Politico, House committee subpoenas, and House is run by Republicans, all right? House committee subpoenas Pam Bondi to testify on her handling of the Epstein case. Dun, 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 dun. That's good news. So yeah, she cannot run away with that, okay? This doesn't go away. And Massey also said today they cannot run away with that. That doesn't work that way, okay? So this is from Politico. A House committee voted Wednesday to subpoena Attorney General Pam Bondi to testify about her handling of the Epstein files, Jeffrey Epstein files. 5 Republicans joined with all Democrats in support of a motion to call a nation's top law enforcement official up to the Capitol Hill for questioning, and the motion itself was offered by GOP Representative Nancy Mace. from South Carolina. It underscored the increasing frustration with Bondi among members of her own party, catalyzed in part by the Epstein saga. If you watched today's and yesterday's Kristi Noem's testifying in Congress, yesterday's Senate, and today in the House, and now the attack to her, obviously justified, but also to Pam Bondi, that because if you haven't watched it, watch Tom Tillis. What's his name? Tom Tillis, I think so. From Republican, he went nuclear on Kristi Noem. Okay, absolutely nuclear. And if you haven't watched it, watch it. It was so good, but still, I mean, it's Tom Tillis, okay? So then, also with Pam Bondi, if you just saw, I told you, like, Republicans actually do it, also advancing it and attacking. And I think, from what I'm seeing, because they went so nuclear, even the Republicans nuclears on, it's because I mean, like it or not, these are women. That's why they go off nuclear on those. Tell me if one person from the Republicans went nuclear on FBI director. It's so hard for me even to say FBI director because there's nothing to qualify him to that degree. He's a disgrace to our country and also to the FBI, who are having so much hard work job, especially in the Nancy Guthrie case and all the missing people and all that whatever. But he is a national disgrace, and still, who went on nuclear on him? It's always in this administration and the GOP, always the women are the ones who are suffering from backlash from the whole administration. They are always the ones who have to suck up the failure of this administration. It is always over and over and over again that I want to noticed, and I just read this here, and that make me also immediately think that it is again the women that even their own administration, that people are going nuclear on them. I mean, I don't even know, what is this FBI director's name? Patel, right, Patel. So who went nuclear on him? Who? Nobody. So this is like this extensive hatred or disregard or disrespect towards women all over written on this party. It is unreal. It is unreal. And again, to be clear, I am neither Democratic nor Republican. I don't give a crap about any of these parties, okay? This is independent, critical news and critical analysis, and I will not shut up because we all have a brain. And because we have a brain, we can distinguish between what we are seeing, like what we are seeing and what's behind the scenes, and we are not dumb. We have our brain and we can analyze what's going on. So you can fool yourself as much as you like, but the American people are not dumb, and we are not going anywhere. So it underscores the increasing frustration with Bondi among members of her own party, catalyzed in part by the Epstein saga. The Justice Department did not immediately return a request for comment. Representatives Lauren Bobette of Colorado, Scott Perry of Pennsylvania, Tim Burchett of Tennessee, and Michael Clott from Texas were the other Republicans on the House Oversight and Government Reform Committee to break rank Wednesday afternoon. Bobette, like, oh God, Why is she there? Committee Chair James Comer from Kentucky, I guess, from Republican, attempted to stave off the subpoena effort, saying Bondi's chief of staff had told him that the attorney general would be available to give member-level briefings around her department's approach to the Epstein case. But critics in both parties have accused Bondi of slow-walking the release of the Epstein files. It was her announcement that the DOJ would not make further information available in the Epstein matter that sparked outrage last summer, culminating in a vote by an oversight subcommittee to force her hand. In November, Congress passed legislation further demanding all materials in DOJ's possession relating to the convicted sex offender be released. After a delay in publication of documents by the statutory deadline, the department announced earlier this year that it would be withholding millions of additional pages. We are gonna be talking about real substantive issues like the 65,000 documents that are being hidden by the DOJ right now, Mace told reporters Wednesday after the vote. Right? So, by the way, this will be on closed doors. It will not be open to the public. Why not? Why not? Why close doors? Like, this is, guys, so surreal. Like, the problem isn't transparency to begin with. Why close doors? What are you hiding? We want to know. Why is she slow walking this? Why is she halting this 65,000, also even the 3 million documents? Why? We want to know. The American people pay these people. They are on our payroll. The American people and the people, I'm telling you, all over the world, in democracies, they absolutely have no idea, because they are so brainwashed by the governments. They still think that they are above the law, and the public, the people actually swallow that. And even for other countries, I keep saying to them, the people that I know, I say, listen, you need to open your goddamn mouth, because you are voting them in. You, the people, have the power. The people are the ones who tell them what to do. I have multiple videos on that, and I've been like for 2 decades, I've been talking about this. In democracy, the people have the power, yet the systems are so corrupt in all countries that they make it sure that you have been so brainwashed that you believe that you have no power. I know for a fact people from overseas with countries in democracy, they do not vote. And they tell me for decades that, oh my God, why would I even vote? It's the same crap over and over again. And I know. And what would you say to them? It's true. But at the same time, voting that, and I made videos about that in 2020. I made a video about that, saying that what I realized about voting, I'm an independent voter, okay? I don't care about any of the parties. But you have to, it's a kind of like chess game. I don't play chess. I have no clue about chess, but I'm saying it's just a metaphor, right? So you have to think in your brain, like you have to kind of analyze what would make more sense. I figured that's the point of voting. If you are like me, but don't believe in any of these crap what these people are putting out there, and all of them are corrupt, then you still have to play a chess game of what would make sense still, even though you don't like the candidates. Like, you have to see like the larger, bigger picture when you vote instead of the candidates that you voted, because the candidates are puppets anyway. So it doesn't matter who is in there. You have to think of the party and the direction where they are going instead of the person. And that's the problem with the voting. Because in other countries as well, the candidates, people make decisions on, and I know this for a fact in other countries overseas, they put up, and even in this country, they don't like Kamala Harris. I hate Kamala Harris, and I wouldn't give a crap about Kamala Harris. And I don't like Trump. I don't like the other people, but I don't like Biden. I don't like anybody, okay? But at the same time, you have to think about, and that's the problem about policies. And nobody, I'm telling you, the majority of people in this country and everywhere in democracies who can vote, and that's another thing I want to discuss later on in another video about the luxury we still have to be able to vote, and that's so important to understand. So we have to go by policies, and that's why we have to push them, and that's why I keep saying, remember who voted to what. Why do I say that? Because now what I said back then, when this squad, whatever, AOC and all of the people were voted in for the first time as a freshman congresswoman, these 4 people, I knew immediately, I could smell the dirt from I don't know, from the cameras, right? I literally was seeing through AOC, and at that time, God forbid you open your mouth about AOC. Oh, people will like attack you from left and right. The progressive left, okay? Don't even get me started with that. And they would like, oh yeah, progressive. And I said, this is not progressive. She is not progressive. She is, and I told this a million times, back in that time, even I had Facebook at that time, I said, this was 2019 when I stopped Facebook, so before then, I said she is a career politician, full stop. Nothing more, nothing less. And everything I said literally now, not just now, but even then happened, because she was under the wings of Nancy Pelosi. And because of that, she voted and still does what the Democratic Party says. And even her disastrous, and I'm telling you, why is she with Senator Bernie Sanders? Why? Because Bernie Sanders wants to give his hand to her, and they are prepping her as the candidate for presidency. You got to be kidding, right? You got to be kidding me. That's why they sent her to Munich in that conference, and she screwed up so bad. Why? Because she had to memorize what the DNC was telling her to say, and everyone could see through that BS conference what she was saying there, and everybody, all the progressives, said, praising her like crazy, like, oh, what was that? Such a disaster. Were you sleeping? I mean, that's why I'm saying, look at the votes. What were the votes? There's a very famous facial expression, very first time, when she was voted against her belief together with DNC, and she was literally so sad and crashing on the floor in the Congress after she voted. that will go down history, and it is in history, and everybody knows that. And that's what I'm saying. We have to not focus on the candidates. We don't have to focus on, oh my God, I love this and that about her or him. Doesn't matter. What is the policy? And if you put the policies of the Democratic policies and the Republican policies in a scale, then even if it's a slight difference, that's what you need to vote. That's unfortunately because of the corruption on left, right, up, down, everywhere. We have to do that type of vote. But that requires understanding the history, understanding who voted what, and who are these people, what are their agenda, and also what are the policies. And that's why the town halls are so critical, and that's why all these candidates are being smashed in the town halls. Why? Because the people woke up. Exactly what I said. So now, okay, so that will bring me to another good news. But before then, since we talked about the Congress and the town halls, I want to jump into the third, and then I will go to the great news, and then I will complete that. So 5645 is the very sad news. Actually, I literally saw this right before I went live. This is a video, not news, but a video right in front of me. And this is, please go watch this. This is like on a vertical short. This is in a subcommittee hearing, okay? A U.S. senator, and I'm telling you who he is. The U.S. senator, his name is Tim Sheehy, from Republican from Montana, who got $641,337 from AIPAC, okay? A Marine with a uniform yelled and screamed. You have to watch it. I will put that video link later in the description. And said, we are not, or something along those lines, that we are not fighting for war for Israel. Then they were dragging him out the door, his hand got stuck inside the door, like when you open the door, like in the space there. And then two police, they cracked the door open. I am for sure they saw that his hand got stuck in there. And then because the door was like this, so his hand got stuck in, and they cracked the door open. And then the senator, this was two police, and then the senator infused himself into the scene and also dragged this Marine. I mean, this is just surreal. And raised him up and pushed him out while the police again smashed the door like this, and you hear a cracking noise. And then a woman screams, his hand, his hand, his hand. They broke this Marine's hand on purpose. I'm telling you, nobody says that, but I saw the video. They saw that this police coming from here saw that this man's hand was in there, so he was like literally pushing it. I will put that video in there. And then the people were yelling and yelling, the senator broke the Marine's hand, the senator broke the Marine's hand. And then he was just like, and you cannot, he is like this big, very strong, blonde guy. I've never seen him before, the senator. And then he walks around very big, like very big muscles and very strong. And then he walks around and then he yells at that man who yelled, the senator broke the Marine's hand. And then that man yelled back at the senator and says, what did you say? And blah, blah. And he was just, you can see the rage in the face of this senator. I just can't, like, and this Marine, he was screaming like, we are not fighting for war for Israel. And then the women again yelled like, his hand. And then when they finally, and they didn't let it go. His hand was in there all the time. They're still trying to push him out. He holding his head and stuff. And then his hand was still there, and they pull him out really, really long time later. And then somebody says, is your hand okay? And he's like, no, my hand is not okay. I mean, it's just so horrendous. And I will put that link. It's just, watch that video and then come back and comment and tell me what you see. Tell me what you see if you see what I see. Okay, now I want to tell you good news. And this is really good news, okay? And this just came in too. And this is Judge Rules. And this is from WCSC Live 5 News. And this says, Judge Rules companies are entitled to refunds for Trump's tariff overturned by Supreme Court. Dun, 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 dun. Because if you follow the news, you knew that, I guess, that UPS or FedEx, they are suing the Trump administration and asking for refunds. So they're actually joining a group of companies who are now asking for reimbursement for all the damages that the tariff have caused. So they're filing a lawsuit, okay? And now the judge ruled that in defeat for the Trump administration, a federal judge in New York ruled Wednesday that companies that paid tariffs struck down last month by Supreme Court are due refunds. So they won the lawsuit. Judge Richard Eaton of the U.S. Court of International Trade wrote that all importers of record were entitled to benefit from the Supreme Court ruling that struck down sweeping double-digit import taxes present on Trump imposed last year under the 1977 International Emergency Economic Powers Act, IEEPA. The Supreme Court found those tariffs to be unconstitutional under the Emergency Powers Law, including the sweeping reciprocal tariffs he levied on nearly every other country. The majority ruled that the president could not unilaterally change tariffs because taxation power clearly belongs to the Congress. The same with war, okay? So why are we still discussing this resolution for war, right? Even the tariffs didn't make it. Oh, good God. In his ruling, Eaton wrote that he alone will hear cases pertaining to the refund of IEEPA duties. The ruling offers some clarity about the tariff refund process, something the Supreme Court did not even mention in its February 20th decision. Trade lawyer Ryan Majerus, a partner at King and Spalding and a former U.S. trade official, said he expects the government to appeal or seek a stay to buy more time for U.S. customs to comply. The federal government collected more than $130 billion in the now defunct tariffs, meaning illegally, through mid-December, and could ultimately be on the hook for refunds worth $175 billion. Wait, what was this again? Waste, fraud, right? Waste and fraud. This is crazy, guys. This is so crazy. Waste, fraud, and abuse, right? Waste, fraud, and abuse. According to calculations by the Penn-Wharton budget model, Easton was ruling specifically on the case brought by Atmos Filtration, a Nashville, Tennessee company that makes filters and other filtration products, claiming a right to tariff refund, claim to a tariff refund. All goods that go through U.S. Customs and Border Protection enter a process called liquidation, when the agency issues its final accounting of what is owed. Once liquidated, importers have 180 days to formally contest the duties. After that window closes, the liquidation is legally final. The judge ordered Customs to stop collecting the IEEPA tariffs the Supreme Court struck down last month on goods going through the liquidation process. And if the goods were past that part of the process, the agency would have to recalculate them without the tariffs. This brought me to the idea, even last year when I made a sale of my cards, which comes from overseas, I paid a severe amount of tariffs on top of the shipping, which was already humongously expensive. So I think the way they should bring this back to people in the tax returns, right? I think for me to be able to claim that as a business, then they should give the refund in the tax returns. Tell me in the comments if this is a wrong thinking, but I think if I would be running the country, I would do it that way. Let alone, I wouldn't do anything illegally, okay? So, on Monday, I would be such a good president, guys. I'm telling you. If I would rule the world would be such a better place. I swear to God, I can't, on Monday, this is a great decision for importers and consumers who paid, said Barry Appleton, a law professor and co-director, New York Law School's Center for International Law. It will make customs brokers busy. It should make things easier for the courts and get a process underway for those importers who paid within last 180 days. Yeah, I paid. On Monday, another federal court rejected the Trump administration's attempt to slow the refund process. The court U.S. Courts of Appeals for the Federal Circuit started the next phase in the refund process by sending it to New York Trade Court to sort out. It's on its way. Now, the U.S. Customs and Borders Protection Agency must come up with a way to process the refunds. Yeah, tax returns, right? I'm telling you. Customs routinely refunds tariffs when there's been some kind of error, but its systems was not designed for a mass refund. Ah! This is just, you know what makes me so like shooting to the moon? And we have a full moon right now, actually, very bright, is dumbness, like stupidity. I can't stand stupidity. It really drives my brain nuts, okay? Said trade lawyer Alexis Early, a partner at Bryan Cave Leighton Paisner. The devil will be in the details of the administrative process. Ah! I cannot believe this. Okay. So that's what I have for you guys. Thank you so much for being here. Tell me your thoughts. I will be just hanging a few more minutes if you have anything to say. What are your thoughts? This is just unreal, guys. I mean, this is what we know since day one. Since day one, they pushed through the Project 2025 or whatever the heck that was, or still is ongoing, from the Heritage Foundation. They pushed, and that's what they do all the time, these Republicans, even in Trump's first administration. They push against the law, whatever they can, bombarding and keep the courts busy with. And there were if you follow the first 100 days, lawsuits after lawsuits after 140 something lawsuits within 100 days. This is historically crazy. And this is what they do. They're pushing the limits, the boundaries. Then later on, they say, oops, okay, sorry, the courts decided against us. But they're still pushing. And that's why it is so. Same thing now with the war. Let's do it. And then backwards, try to get the votes. That's why I'm telling you guys, this is so critical. And people have apparently a fish brain and forget yesterday. And this is by design, so with all the social media to distract all of us, okay? And we have to really stay awake. This is our literally live or die moment. We have to be awake and to see through what's going on and keep track. Never lose track, because then you can make better judgment, because you have everything in your mind. But I know for a decade I've been fighting for people who are writing on social media and then literally the next day they write the opposite B, and you're like, what? You literally wrote A yesterday. Where did the B come from? And they're not even aware of it. And that's the weird part. And I, as a matter of fact, have examples that professors doing this. And they are so like retired professors even. Like, are you not a professor? Like, don't you even have a little bit of an understanding of what's going on? It doesn't matter what kind of professor. A professor to me is an intelligent person. So let alone this person is a genetics professor. You cannot make this stuff up. And so I assume and expect people with some sort of intelligence, like studying, have some sort of intelligence and a memory. I mean, I understand if you lose your memory, of course, there's chronic illnesses and the brain fog and all of the happenings that keep us awake, all the digitalization, all the coffee and energy drinks and all the food that keeps our gut sick, that helps us not rest properly, that doesn't help us wake up with a clear mind, but brain fog. If you want me, I have tons of information about those already. And so check those out. I mean, I can go on and on about this, okay? And this is why we have to be absolutely be awake, be healthy in the brain, healthy in the mind, healthy in our body, so that we can memorize all of this, what's happening here. Even if you can memorize, then just write it down. These are the senators who vote for this, and they will go down in history. And what pisses me so much off is, again, as I gave you the example with AOC, people are literally like sheeps. I've been saying this I can say this all day, every day, for decades. People are like sheeps. Whatever the social media, mainstream media, even influencers on YouTube, on social media saying, people just believe that and not their own brain. People don't trust what they see. This is the problem. Why would we then be so angry when we say, oh, they have been fooling us with the Epstein files, it was in front of us all day long? Yeah, you even cannot remember what the critical vote, what senator gave what, or what you saw that senator or representative was doing or saying. Literally, Marco Rubio says one thing yesterday, and today, because they have troubles with Trump, he completely switches the scenario and literally says, I didn't say what you said I said. Roll the tapes, he said. Yes, we roll the tapes. You said it. And he says to the reporter, I didn't say what you said I said. So this is what I'm saying. If you run through social media and run your favorite influencer on YouTube, on social media, on mainstream media, and you don't trust your own judgment, you don't trust your own eyes, what you see, and that's exactly what this is all designed for. That's why I push so much of self-empowerment, because I know what I see, and no one can tell me that I didn't see that. And I only trust my own judgment based on my knowledge and my knowledge of history, of politics, of economics, of sociology, social psychology, and my ability to memorize who the heck did what, so that I can make. Why do you think all my predictions are accurate? And give you an example. I want to make this another video, but let me tell you this right now. The first day of the Iranian attack, of the US attacking Iran, the first day, I said, I had made a phone call to Turkish people, to Turkey, And I said, watch out your money, watch out your things, be careful, because it can flip over to Turkey. And they said, oh, God forbid, God forbid. No. I said, be careful, it can. What happened yesterday? Everything I said happened, because the second on command in Israel, he said, the second or vice president, whoever that person was, said in the news, and with such a rage and anger, that Turkey is the second Iran, and Erdogan is so sophisticated, and blah blah blah. So Turkey will be a second target by Israel. If that happens, I'm telling you, people just don't understand. Turkey is the second largest war tech producer in NATO. They have developed, Turkey is so big in military, it's humongous. And they just, a few months ago, finalized a out of this world Turkish fighter jet, which is one of the kind. And that's why they're selling to the NATO allies, and they're selling to Russian as well. So that's why it was kind of like, which side are you? Like the last couple of years was this kind of discussion where, which side are you? Because you're selling the same jets to Russia too. But I'm telling you, these people, I'm saying this for a year, these people misunderstand the power of Iran. If Iran wanted so far, they would do this. They would just do this and will be erased, that country, okay? But they didn't. And they underestimate Iran so bad. So bad. This is so goddamn dangerous. I am not an intelligence person, right? But can the intelligence community not see this? Why can you? If I see it as a lay person, that the power of Iran, and if just do this, they would erase a lot of countries on earth, okay, from the earth. And Turkey is one of those. So no wonder why they said Turkey is the second Iran. We have to attack. Yeah. What does Israel have? Israel has only is the contract country of United States. Does Israel produce fighter jets? Does Israel produce all the ammunition? No, they just get it. So as a supply. And when the supply is over, it's over. But Turkey is not like that. Turkey's military is the second in NATO. They are all, they can produce the one of a kind in the world, just finished. The fighter jet, it's a black hawk, I don't know what's it called, forgot, but Turkish name, it has a Turkish name. So I'm telling you, and I was just saying this, why is everything I predict coming like happens, everything that comes out of my mouth. Why I keep saying, well, mark my words, why everything is happening, why? Yeah, I have sixth sense, true, but not just because that, not because some woo-woo stuff, because number one, I know and read things and know things, and also I memorized the history, who did what in world history. Also, I am, as a scientist, able to connect all the dots. And then for me, it's like, duh, kind of thing. So that's why I'm saying, I mean, it's just really not rocket science for me, and wouldn't be and shouldn't be rocket science for anybody, so long you just open a goddamn book and read some history, read some, I don't know, world economics, and you don't have to be, I'm not an economist, I am not a historian, I'm not a sociologist, I'm not a psychologist, I am not, and whatever the heck, it doesn't matter. I have a brain. If Elon Musk thinks that he is some sort of a rocket guy, you can be a brain surgeon. Doesn't matter, okay? He's not that smart. So, I mean, it really, this is all not rocket science. That's why I'm pushing so much on my channel about self-empowerment and knowledge is power, because indeed it is power. Indeed it is. Because only we, people with here, and people with critical thinking capabilities can save the world and make changes in the world. If you haven't already, I published today the toxic diaspora, and I finally got everything out of my chest. Please, if you haven't watched it, so important, please watch it, because I'm pretty sure, I don't know if you know people who are living diaspora, like immigrants. I mean, the entire world at this point is immigrants. Why are we still discussing immigration? Everyone in this world is immigrant somewhere, okay? There is no pure population. I mean, if you think about the Ottoman Empire, okay? I don't even know why I'm getting there, but since I'm getting this out, let me get out everything on my chest, okay? In the Ottoman Empire, like even the Turkish people absolutely cannot claim pure blood. Nobody can claim that. No one ever. In this world, if I'm a biologist, I know evolution, okay? No one, I'm telling you, can claim pure blood. You are not living under the rock. You are not living in a cave. And the world didn't happen yesterday, okay? We're talking about millions of years. So what are we talking about? There is no, this is political BS. As a biologist, as a geneticist, I'm telling you, there is no pure blood in this world. Full stop. Even in the Ottoman Empire, if the Turkish people said this is Turkish, right? What? All of these people came from slaves, right? The women were from Ukraine, from all of the Balkanian, from all of the countries that the Ottoman Empire were expanding to, and got the women and in the harem of the sultans. They were actually pleasing the sultans, and this is how with their birth, right? It's a mixed blood, if you will, and there's so many Russian or Ukrainian or whatever or Italian and Greek and all of this from Crimea. They're all mixed in the Turkish blood, if you will. I mean, if you know, if just to give you as a popular example, just if you know nothing about the sultans and anything about Ottoman Empire, if you just know maybe the popular, the just from popularity, maybe from the movies, you know, the Sultan Suleiman, right? The greatest of the greatest of the Ottoman Empire, who expanded the Ottoman Empire to its greatest level. Like 1/3 of the country of the world was occupied under by Ottoman Empire under Sultan Suleiman, and so the Suleiman the Magnificent, right? And so his wife, which was illegal at that time to have a wife, was Hürrem Sultan, and she obviously was a slave, come from another country, and then they fall in love, la 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 la, and then yeah, he broke the law. He broke the law and got married to her because they were so in love. They were actually truly in love, and they broke the law. He broke the law for her, and then he removed the status of slave of her, which was the highest level of praise and highest level of achievement actually for any of these women in harem, who were all slaves and were there to please and to produce babies for the sultans, for the empire. This is all bullshit. Like, I mean, they can make this so magnificent as they like. This is what's going on. It's just so seriously horrendous, in my opinion. But talk about the Turkish people if they say, oh my God, this was so magnificent. It's like, it's slave is slave. I don't care, okay? If they are using women as pleasing the man and then giving birth to all as incubators, then I'm sorry, I don't care, whatever culture we're talking about. So what I'm saying is, if you know nothing about that, any of the history of any of those, at least this is the popular that many people know from the movies, the Suleiman the Magnificent and Hürrem Sultan. She was not Turkish, she was a slave from Crimea. So there's a lot of mix of variety of cultures, and they are, I'm telling you, Black Turkish people coming, and they are not Black anymore because from the Ottoman Empire, they also got slave from African countries. So a lot of Turkish people, when you in some Eastern Turkey, even there are black communities too, isolated Black communities and Black Turkish people, Black villages, but they are not so common, rare. But now there are more and more like white Turkish people, more from the East, who have features, Black, like African features. And as a geneticist, I can spot them right away. And also as someone who lives in America for 20 years, when I always, and I know people who have these type of African features. Their nose, their hair, like super curly hair, that's not Turkish. Their face, their feet, their body is just white. If you think about it, it's like an African person with white skin. This is how they look like, and they are Turkish. So they are from all the centuries of cross genetics, they became like this white African type of Turkish people. So what I'm saying is no one can claim any of this. This is all political BS. And we should not, that's what I'm saying. But knowledge is power, and knowledge can only help you and help this world to, for us to change and make a better place. And that's why, and I discuss this all the time with my dad, because I said, if you follow me for some, I mean, long time, I keep saying that my dad has his room, like 2 walls from the floor to the ceiling, full of 2 big bookshelves full of books. So my dad is a book freak, okay, bookworm, and he knows everything. All the history he knows, and he memorizes, and he's 81 years old, and we still discuss all the time. And since my childhood, we were always discuss this world politics and all that, with history and politics and religious history and all that stuff, religion history and all that. So I discuss this all the time with my dad, that this I forgot my train of thought, but anyway, I forgot it. I forgot what I say. But we were just always like discussing how the world is. Oh yeah, sorry, just remembered. We were discussing all the time about the cults, right? How the people in the cults are changing or forcing people not to know things. This is the typical way of power over the people, by keeping people dumb. This is for sects, this is for cults, this is for spiritual gurus, this is for politics, for politicians, for years. How they keep people dumb so that fascism and the power over people and their political agenda can proceed, including, as I said, cults, the cults, the religious gurus, the woo-woo people and spiritual gurus. They keep people dumb. The same thing as I keep saying with tarot and astrology and all that. So they keep you dumb so that they can keep manipulating you. The same thing with politicians, right? They put all the social media there. They just keep you busy. They keep you busy, okay? And I will do later another video about how these comedy shows, right? These comedy shows, I think this is now more and more clear to me. They are designed by the system, by the corrupt system, to keep to normalize the BS, to normalize the horror, to normalize the politics, to normalize the terrible things that's going on in the world. I think this is designed so, the comedy shows, because I don't know about you, but me, I am getting very, very angry when I just read you the news, right? Like, let's say the Epstein files, how horrible it is, right? Like I don't know if you follow what's going on, but what they did to children and all that. And with war right now, doesn't matter what horrendous topic we are talking about. Then the second, that evening, I don't know, that these Colbert show with Jimmy Fallon and the other Jimmy and whatever the heck, they all like, yeah, and that's a comedy. I'm sorry. What the F are you laughing about? Why is this funny? So let me understand. You help me to understand what a horrible thing the government did, or a politician did, or whoever the heck, whatever they did, in a funny way, in a jokey way, so that I can understand the world news? What? What? So you explain to me in a funny way that what Epstein did to children. What? I don't need to laugh about this to understand the horror about this. I don't need to laugh about anything about this. I'm sorry, I don't also need to laugh, or SNL too, right? Like the moment on Saturday, we woke up on Saturday morning to United States bombs Iran, and the night, Saturday Night Live in cold open, I didn't even watch it. I just saw it and I was so pissed that I didn't even watch it, because I don't want to give credit to any of these people. Why would I watch this? The more you watch it, the more you give people the opportunity to spread this more. Why are people doing this? Why is no one waking up and say, excuse me, this was inappropriate? Why would you make fun of this? There's nothing to make fun of about this. So I don't know. Am I the only one thinking about this deep? I don't think this is deep. To me, it is just open mind. Open mind, open eyes, open ears, open brain to begin with. No, do you remember I said in the beginning, no one can tell me what I saw, what I think, what I'm supposed to make sense of. I don't need a Colbert or the Jimmys or the SNL to tell me, yeah, this has happened and they are so stupid, right? And I don't need to laugh about it. We already know they are stupid. And they're horrible. And because of this is another tactic of these governments to make people numb. Make people, and I want to make another video, but since I'm here, I'm just saying this to you. The Epstein files release was also a game, a part of the game to make us numb to the horror. It already started, because when I put up on Saturday, which messed up my whole schedule, the one live stream and 3 shorts about the war, and we have to vote, and I encourage people to call their senators because of this. I mean, I told you. What I saw was horrendous. Doesn't matter what people attacking me and all that. But what I saw was so horrendous that people making already jokes and fun of the Epstein files, what actually, not the Epstein files, but what they are doing to girls. And they're making jokes and funs about it. People on comments on videos. And people who commented on my shorts and like, shut up, the war. They even have in their profile picture pizza, slides of pizza. This is like Very, very serious stuff. I was mortified more than what they're saying, but who they are and what they're doing. And the last thing I want to say based on this, since I'm talking about this, the same day, remember I do t-shirts, right? And I have my t-shirts down here and my Etsy store. So I design t-shirts and have my designs and whatnot. So there is one guy has a YouTube channel and just tells like, here I make these designs and blah, blah. And then he posts and he takes pictures on malls and say, oh yeah, look at these. I got these pictures from the mall, from these t-shirts. Tell me which one you like, A, B, C, or D. And then he did this again on Saturday, right after I saw this. And he puts taking picture from the mall, 4 pictures of t-shirts, A, B, C, and D. And then he asks, which one of these do you like? And do you know what the D is? And I took a screenshot. I will make a video show this, and I wrote this to him. What the F is this? How dare you to put this up here? And how dare you to ask us which one we like? And that number D is, you know what? A white t-shirt, red, and this is so, even when I just said it, I didn't notice this. When I said it out loud, I just realized the colors. It's a white shirt with red everything, a gigantic clown face, okay? And I just realized it's red. A red clown face, and it says, gigantic, I eat, and then children. Can you believe this? Actually, I can't cry right now as I'm thinking about this. I was mortified. This is humanity. This is who we are. This is who the world is. And that's why I'm pushing so much this to make sure the humanity goes in a correct direction, because can you just believe this? I don't have even words for this. I bombarded him so bad. I reported him. I bombarded him. I don't even know if he had replied or not. I don't care, but I took screenshots and I will expose them again and make another video on this. But I just, since the topic is here, so I wanted to share that. This is where we are. This is exactly what they tried, and they succeeded, and more. That's why. Do you understand now? Why again? We must be so awake. We must be so healthy mentally, physically, emotionally, so that we can actually have the capacity of knowledge and put the pieces together and not be numbed by these BS, and can call the BS out. As I always say, you don't have to scream out of your lungs. Doesn't matter. Do I scream right now? No. I'm just talking from knowledge, and that's what we need. You don't have to go out there and scream your lungs out and scream and yell at people. No. What I do, and I'm always successful in that, I beat people with my knowledge. Full stop. Full stop. Always. That's why I have one of my cards. I'm saying, I'm so grateful for my brain, because my brain helped me every single time to win. always. And so that's why, and I ended this with here, knowledge is power, critical thinking is everything, and know what you saw, keep what you saw, combine it with your knowledge. That's help you to critically analyze it and stick with that. Don't be fooled what they say, that's not what you saw is not what you saw, which is utterly BS. All right. Thank you so much, guys, for being here. Love you so much. Thank you. Thank you. I really appreciate it. I will see you soon. If you want me to talk about a topic, please let me know in the comments. Thank you for liking, sharing, and subscribing. So much love to you guys. Have a good night. Take care of yourselves. And yeah, see you soon.